Greetings and welcome to Grey Board Gamer. Today's game is Camp Grizzly, a survival horror board game for 1 to 6 players from Ameritrash Games. This is a game that I helped fund back on Kickstarter in December of 2013. So let's go ahead and get right into the setup. Okay, the first step in the setup is we're going to choose our counselor cards. Now, I'm a big fan of random, and I'm going to do this as a 4-player game. So, go ahead and give these a good shuffle. Fan them out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's see, we have Kevin, Karen, CJ, and Sherry. I'll go into detail about them throughout the game, but let's move on to the next stage of the setup. Okay, let's go ahead and meet our counselors. First we have Sherry. She's an orienteer. She can use the nature trails freely, which we'll go over during gameplay. She cannot be lost. If she starts her turns in the woods, she can immediately return to any nature trail of her choosing, which is a huge advantage for Sherry. And as you can see, her health and moves start at 3 at the beginning of the game. Then we have Karen. She's a mentor. Campers in your care may re-roll their special skills once per turn. And again, if she gets any campers, then we'll explain how that rule works. And she's also inspired, so she begins the game with 2 additional survival cards. So when we get to the survival card draw phase of the setup, she'll go ahead and get 2 additional cards, and she also starts with 3 move and health. Next we have CJ, a coach. Other counselors in your cabin receive +1 to their fight rolls, which again can be a good advantage. He's also a sprinter. When moving, CJ may discard a survival card to move 1 or more space. Now that would have to be a desperate situation because you don't get many survival cards throughout the game, so to discard 1 to move 1 more space would be a really dire circumstance. And he also starts with 3 move and health. And finally, our 4th player is Kevin, lifeguard. If Otis strikes, and we'll meet Otis soon enough, within 3 spaces of Kevin, he may move to join the fight. So that can come in handy if the other counselors do not have weapons and Kevin's nearby with one. Might as well bring him in there to help take care of Otis, if possible. And water sports. Kevin receives a +1 to all his rolls during the boat finale, and we'll go over finales. And Kevin starts with 3 move and health. Next, we'll take our Kevin cards and our survival cards, give them a good shuffle, and set up some decks off to the side. Next, we would choose our setup card to see how we're going to set the game board up. And this card will show you where you need to put your locked doors and your object tokens for the players to find throughout the game. I'll go ahead and get the board ready with those items. Now we have the board set up with our object tokens and locked doors in place as specified by the setup. We have our 4 counselors here starting at the campfire, and also as instructed by the setup card, we're going to take our body count marker and put it down here on the 1 space. We will also put this set of keys, this token, into Morris's office. Now, during the game you have 4 possible finales that you can work towards. We have the van, the barn, the ranger tower, and the boat. And on each card it shows you which items that you would need in order to get that objective completed and start that finale. So each of these has 2 cards. I'm going to shuffle them and then place them off to the side for later use. Next, each counselor starts the game with 2 survival cards. Give these another quick shuffle. Okay. And we'll start up there with Sherry. And now with Karen and her inspired trait, she begins the game with 2 additional survival cards. Kevin and CJ. Now we'll go into more detail as to what these cards do as we start the gameplay. Now that we have all the cards dealt out, the survival cards dealt out, we can introduce you to our killer, Otis. This is the card that is used to keep track of his stats throughout the game. Right now he's currently starting with a stock of 2 because the body count starts at 1 in a normal difficulty game, which gives him a stock of +1, and then his attack starts on a 4-sided dice and his damage starts at a 1. Now setup is complete. Otis starts in the tool shed right next to us at the campfire. I'll go ahead and explain the rules more in detail during the gameplay. So go ahead, start the next video, watch that first turn. Hope you enjoy.